Yo, welcome back. 88 Fitness Live every Sunday, 12 Eastern Time. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking about muscle damage versus muscle growth. The truth about hypertrophy. But first,
update.
I got an update.
You do?
Yeah. You're going to have to bear with me today. I had a touch of what I think is food poisoning last night. Very rough night. I'm not running at 100%, but I'm here and I'm ready to rock. We'll do the best live we can. If you're on Instagram, I'm sorry we can't respond to the comments. If you want a response to the comments, you're on Instagram, jump on YouTube. We will respond to your comments on YouTube.
All right. What other updates? How did the bulk go this week?
Bulk went well. No changes at all, except I went back to work, so I was moving a lot more. And I lost a pound on the same calories, same macros, same everything. But if you saw my post this morning, I'm going on a ski trip in less than a month, and I want to be around 210. So we're going to lean out a little bit. I don't want to be too heavy while I'm skiing.
Yeah, it's crazy how much like 5 extra pounds on the knees when you're skiing and having to like get up and down like that. Yep. It's a lot. So I understand it.
Welcome back, Kylie. Dave's back. Welcome back, Dave.
So James might have lost a pound, but I found it because I ended up going up a pound this week, you guys, which is fine. You know, I'm trying to hover right at that 137, range. So not too bad. I still plan to kind of dial that back going into Thanksgiving, just because I know I'm going to overindulge a little on Thanksgiving.
It is Thanksgiving.
Other updates. I was really excited. My posing client, Felicia, competed yesterday at the MPC Rocky Mountain Show out in Colorado, and she killed it. She ended up placing first and winning the overall. There's about 5 girls in her lineup, and they all looked good. So I really like how competitive that show was. And actually, I was impressed that there was more than one women's physique athlete, honestly.
I've seen the pictures of Felicia. She looked great. Well-deserved win. Congrats.
Yeah.
Big T, welcome back, baby.
So, yeah, I had a lot of fun. I worked with Felicia on her posing routine. So, women's physique, you have to do a 60-second routine. So, helped choreograph and practice that over the last, 6 weeks or so.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Photo 80s Jeff back. Welcome back, Jeff. Thanks for tuning in, brother.
Yeah, so if you guys are new to 88 Fitness Training's YouTube channel, we are all things hypertrophy. I'm Camille, this is James, and we try to come with at you guys with some science-backed information, but also experience-backed information. Between the two of us, we have about 30 years training clients and trying to improve our own physiques as well. So that's all the things that we talk about week after week here. It's a great place to come. If you have any questions, you can ask them. So don't hesitate. Even though we have a topic today, you could just drop us a question in the chat and we will take the time to answer it for you guys.
Yep. Fire away any question you like. And if you're watching on Instagram and you want to get a response, jump on YouTube, put your comment on YouTube. We will respond.
Absolutely. And so today we're actually going to take some time to break down one of the most misunderstood concepts in all of bodybuilding, muscle damage. So what is it actually? How much is too much, right? That's the key. And, can it actually wreck your gains? And some of it's a little controversial. Me and James don't always agree eye to eye on this concept either. So it's going to be a very fun live as we go through it today. And if you absolutely love this content, you can always hit that super thanks feature down at the bottom of the screen. We truly appreciate it. It helps us keep producing fantastic content for you guys.
Aileen's back. Welcome back, Aileen. Thanks for tuning in, brother.
Aileen is one of our #1 fans there for sure.
Appreciate you, Aileen.
And if you guys missed it, this week we launched the hypertrophy series. We start with biceps. So we went through the most effective exercises to trigger bicep growth. So you definitely want to go back and check that out if you missed it.
That was good.
Yeah. So each week for the next 6-7 weeks, we're going to introduce a new muscle group. So definitely be on the lookout. There's actually a playlist that they're all in on YouTube. So check it out for sure.
Aileen, how'd the moose go last week?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I've never had moose. I want to try some. It's a protein I haven't tried yet. I'm curious. So, I kind of want to taste it, actually. Native Grit, welcome back, Native Grit. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Getting my cardio in, walking at the park where I work. Been feeling better lately. Fantastic.
That's awesome. Glad to hear it.
We've been praying for you, Native Grit. I'm glad to hear you're feeling better, brother. Hopefully it continues. And the moose was awesome. Made a stew. Fantastic.
I was thinking about making a stew soon, something like that.
It's cold
good.
enough.
Yeah, it's getting cold
good.
here. All right. So, if you've ever crushed a workout and got sore like pretty instantaneously, and you're doing this week after week and you're like, this muscle group's not growing despite I'm in that gym like hammering it. Well, today you're going to learn exactly what is needed to grow. There is an old school kind of idea that more pain equals gains. It's not exactly true. And I want to explain why for you guys today. So, you're not going to grow from total destruction. You're going to grow from stimulation and being strategic. And so we're going to take you through all of that.
So once again, we're going to pause real quick. The pain scale is subjective, excuse me. So somebody says they're in extreme pain, might be very little pain to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind. Aileen said he had beets on the side of the stew. Fantastic, bro.
Nice.
Did you roast them?
Roasted beets are great. Out of the can? No. No. This one eats canned beets like every day for his breakfast.
If you've been watching a while, I eat beets just about every day. I just open a can and put a little salt on them and eat.
Yeah, so, I used to have this philosophy, like, when it was leg day, it didn't even count if I just was completely walking around like a baby giraffe, couldn't even sit on my toilet, right? And over time, it's like, I really wasn't seeing significant growth. Like, the growth was minimal. And so I kind of took a step back and was like, okay, well, maybe that's just too much. So I started to really control my weekly volume and really pay attention to the exercises I was doing, how I was doing it. And that doesn't really happen anymore. It might happen for a day or two, 3 max, but that really doesn't happen anymore. And I really have seen significant growth over the last 2 years in particular on my legs. So there's something to be said there, at least for me, in what I've noticed from a practical sense.
Big T, it's always a bad thing if you're not sore the next day. I feel like I didn't push hard enough if I'm not sore the next day. There's people that don't get sore at all. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of people out there that don't get sore at all. I'm not one of them. I wish I was.
I just had a client that was that exact way. And I was like, there's no way that didn't make you sore. So soreness is not a good indicator of hypertrophy. And we will talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. I've done, half workouts, believe me, over the years. And I come back and I'm like, why the heck am I so sore? I was nowhere near what I could do. What happened here?
Right.
Here, Native Grit's feeling better. He said intensity scales up to 100%. Yes,
yeah.
We're back, baby. And Aileen, fresh beets boiled with butter and salt. Outstanding.
Butter and salt makes everything better, Aileen.
Have you ever tried boiled beets?
No, I've never tried boiled beets. All right, so let's get into it today. Let's talk about what muscle damage actually is. So when I think of muscle damage, people are imagining that means your muscles are torn apart. There's all these little tears and you have to tear them to build them bigger. So that's not exactly how it works. So I'll break it down for you. Basically, a good definition for muscle damage is that there's some type of structural disruption inside the muscle cell itself. Or it could be damage to the connective tissue that's surrounding that muscle cell. So we're not talking like a bicep. We're talking on the cellular level. The individual cells that go into making up that muscle tissue are damaged or disrupted. So that's kind of my definition of what muscle damage is. In a more practical sense, you could think of, when you train, your muscles have this kind of internal scaffolding, if you will, to the muscle fibers. And all those little tiny proteins, the myosin, the actin, the titin, they're all bending and deforming together in order to contract that muscle to handle that load that you're applying to it. And so, you can think of it like bending a paper clip. You bend it, it changes shape slightly, and then it signals to the body, hey, I have a stimulus being applied to myself. So it's a good way of thinking of it.
That's interesting. I'm a wee little Poundstone. Welcome back, wee little Poundstone. On the biceps video you did about hypertrophy, I did straight bar heavy lift and the seated bench dumbbell curls. Fantastic. All I did to failure, which was one you recommended for a finisher. Which one do you recommend for a finisher?
Honestly, that's a good question. I don't know. I kind of like the seated ones, and because you can do a drop set, and that would be super nasty. You're already pretty exhausted, so I'd probably go that way. I'm not sure I would do the heavy, like cheap barbell curls as my finisher.
Yeah, agreed. It's going to be all biceps at the end. You're fatigued already, and you don't want to cheat towards the end. If you're going to cheat, a little bit of cheating, which don't do very often. Do it with your heavy lifts, right? All right, Aileen, when you boil the beets, you keep the water to add the pre-workout. Hey, all right, fantastic. I appreciate everybody waving on Instagram. If you have a question you want to get answered, hop over to YouTube. We'll answer your comment on YouTube. Just a reminder.
Yeah, so, when muscles are damaged and you have those structural disruptions that we're talking about, all those little proteins that normally align perfectly, they're all disrupted. Right? They're all out of alignment with one another. And this is actually what's called Z-line streaming. And the Z-line disrupts and it rips apart. And all of those materials, all of that protein in there is in disarray. And so the cell membranes for the muscles themselves can also be compromised. And not only that, your connective tissue, which is primarily made of collagen, can also be damaged. And so you guys have probably felt this one. It's like when all of a sudden your arms feel tight, but it's not the bicep, let's say. It's like down here closer to the elbow or up here at the shoulder, right? It's the connective tissue, not actually the muscle itself. Have you ever noticed that too, where it's like not the center part of the muscle that's tight, it's like around it?
No, my entire muscle is
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of times it's not like this stabbing pain. It's more of like this dull, my muscle feels tight pain. And that's usually your connective tissue that you've damaged. Yes. Yeah.
A lot of studies come back. That's what you're feeling is sore. It's not actually your muscles. It's a myofascial layer that's in there that's feeling sore. It's not even the muscle cells. A lot of studies come back, hey, nothing's hurting but your myofascia. Yeah,
a lot of times I can tell, like on the biceps, if I go to stretch the arms out and I'm reaching that full stretch, I'm like, oh, that's sore. And that's probably the connective tissue. Whereas if I go and I touch the bicep and I'm like, ooh, that's sore, that's probably the muscle cells itself that had a lot of damage. So just an interesting way to kind of tell the difference. All right, so now that we kind of talked about what is muscle damage, let's talk a little bit about protein synthesis and how that applies to muscle damage. And see, there's a question too.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a wee little Poundstone. I know you commented earlier this week you said you had some questions. I'm glad you showed up with your questions. Here's question 2, baby. You remember the Mike Mentzer underhanded cable pull downs, of course, for the back. It does really engage the entire bicep. Should do that in the beginning when I do arms. A 100% yes. That is my first bicep exercise every single bicep workout. You can do more than body weight, your stretch position, and you're at peak contraction under load. It is, in my opinion, the best bicep exercise you can do. And a lot of people agree. The other one's chin-ups, but if you've been in the game for a while, you can do more than your body weight for 10 reps on chin-ups. That's why we start with the close grip lat pull down. You can do more than your body weight right off the bat without having to strap anything to your body or getting, a dumbbell with your feet or anything like that.
Just remember, you don't want to go all the way down if you're doing the Mike Mentzer pull downs. Otherwise, your lats end up taking over and not the biceps. So you really have to have that strong mind muscle connection to ensure. And if you don't have that yet, perhaps the chin-ups would be a better option for you.
Your best cue is at the bottom of the rep, squeeze your bicep. Don't even worry about squeezing your lats because you're working biceps today. So contract that bicep as hard as you can at the bottom. Don't even worry about the lats, right? Worry about that on back day. All right. Randall Flagg. Welcome, Randall Flagg. I did cable butterflies, low to high, 4 upper chest, and the center of my chest line was sore the next day. Fantastic. You hit that inner chest with that one, baby.
Nice.
Good job. And I'm a wee little pound stone. Thank you. I will change my arm routine now. Get some, baby.
All right. So going back to connecting muscle damage to muscle protein synthesis. So hypertrophy literally only happens when your muscle protein synthesis is higher than the breakdown, right? So, you can't grow bigger muscles if, your damage debt is too high, basically. I think that makes sense, right? Your body's always going to prioritize repair versus like muscle growth. So if you dig such a big hole that when you come in with the nutrients and you're hitting it and you don't have enough to fill that hole, you're still going to have a hole, right? It's not going to build this bigger mound because you don't have enough material to fill in that damage debt.
So that's called overtraining. Mm-hmm. You don't let your muscles recover and you hit them again. They're still repairing. They're not building that mound of muscle on top, right?
Yeah.
Don't shortchange your progress. Don't overtrain.
Sure.
I got some crazy comments on Instagram. I appreciate y'all, but if you want a response, you're going to have to jump to YouTube. We can only keep up with the YouTube comments. But there's some good ones coming across. Holy smokes.
All right. So I like to think of muscle damage as a continuum. You have the lower end of the spectrum all the way to the higher end of the spectrum. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But really, the most growth happens when you keep the damage in that low to moderate. When damage is very high, like we said, the damage debt is too high and you can't, stimulate growth.
You regress.
Yeah. So the goal is always to keep it low to moderate. And when I say that, I'm not talking intensity. I'm not talking about the amount of volume and sets and things you're doing. So don't confuse those two things there.
Yes. And I'm going to quote Mentor here, and he uses the sun. You go out in the sun, you adapt to the sun with a sun tan, right? If you stay in the sun too long, you get sunburnt. That's where the damage is. You did too much. You stayed in the sun too long. Right. You created damage. You can do that to your muscles, but you don't want to, obviously. Mm-hmm. You want to get a good tan and then go back inside.
Yeah.
Don't cross the line and start getting burnt out there in that sun, right? But here's my hashtag, and Mike never, ever talks about this. The longer you stay in the sun, the more tan, the base tan, maybe 10 minutes. The next day you can do 15. The day after that, 20. So you can handle more damage the further you get into this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, where are we at?
Terrence.
Big T, legs and back take the most damage since it's a big muscle and you're lifting the most weight.
Yeah, there's some other reasons too, and we're going to talk about that later today.
Caesar, I'm not even going to try to say your name.
Caesar came over from Instagram, so thank you for coming over from Instagram, Caesar.
Does it bother you that I mention you in my stories or that I send you messages? Not at all, brother.
We love the engagement from everyone.
Yep. Native Grit, since it's getting cooler out, what's your go-to super soups? Ooh, mine is chili and native fried bread. Fantastic. Living on the red. I think that's supposed to be res. When I was younger, was a go-to. Yep.
Nice.
Fantastic. I got to say, I love stew. Beef stew. Mm-hmm. Homemade beef stew. Ooh,
that's good.
If we can get some moose, I don't know, throw moose in instead of beef.
I'll tell you what, you guys, we recently did, we called it a faux Thanksgiving because our daughter's not going to be here for Thanksgiving. So we went ahead and did it. And we took some of that leftovers and we made turkey noodle soup from scratch. It was really good. It was really, really good.
Yeah. Reservation, not red. That's good stuff, Native Grit. I like it. And I also like vegetable soup very much. I don't really mess with chicken noodle unless I'm sick, but I'll eat that too.
Right.
What else? Cold? You like any kind of crazy soups?
No. I'm pretty simple.
All right. I'm a wee little pound stone. When you say low to moderate, would you recommend the flat pyramid sets of 8? Add 15% more weight.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite how to answer that. So really like your rep schema and sets doesn't really equate to muscle damage. I mean, you do have to keep overall volume in check. But it doesn't really matter necessarily like how you're structuring that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angel, welcome back. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Randall Flag, Dr. Ballard's gravy train is good. We'll have to try
Never heard of it.
Check that out, yeah. Big T down another 2 pounds on the cut this week, and abs are starting to pop. My man, you cut in November, T. Good job, buddy.
That's hard.
Right before the holidays. Good for you, brother. You can cut it down before the holidays and then, go a little crazy on it.
Yeah.
It's dog food. That's why we haven't tried it.
We're not trying that.
Yeah, Caesar, it doesn't bother me at all, brother. Keep sending them.
Yeah. All right. So when muscle damage is low, inflammation is low. That means your body is able to recover quicker. And usually your strength returns pretty fast. Like within that 24 to 48 hour mark, you would be able to go out and do that same lift with the same amount of strength as you did last time, if not more. Not only that, your protein synthesis window is high. The body has the energy needed to build the new tissue. So things like the mTOR cell signaling is increased. Tissue regeneration is prioritized versus damage because there is no damage. And again, the inflammation is low. So that's kind of the lower end of the damage continuum, if you will.
Yep.
So as you kind of do more and more and more, you reach moderate damage. This is where things start to slow down slightly, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, this is where I would say most lifters are, including myself and James. So with this, inflammation is definitely a little higher. So clearing out all of that damage takes a little longer, right? So instead of 24 hours, it probably takes you 3 to 4 days to recover your strength back. And again, strength just means being able to do the same weight and reps or more when we're talking about strength recovery.
Back in the 80s, Native Grit, back in the 80s when I was single, I would have a 2.5 pounds of stew, a loaf of bread with peanut butter, and a half a gallon of milk for lunch. Holy smokes, Native Grit. It's a lot of food.
It's like a strongman diet right there.
Wow. When I was younger, I could eat a lot too, but for some reason, I'm 49, I just can't. I try. We went out, and I paid for it, but we went out to eat yesterday, brought the leftovers home. I mean, I wanted to eat a huge lunch. And I feel like I barely ate anything. I'm like, I'm stuffed, man. I can't eat anymore. I was just bloated and stuffed, and I couldn't get anything more down. I'm like, man, what happened? When I was young, I could eat this all day long.
That's crazy.
All right, where we at? Aileen, if I'm sore more than 2 days, I know I did too much. That's a good meter.
Yeah.
I'm a wee pound stone. Okay, I'll give you an example. When I worked back, I started with 130, 8 count, 145. 2-second pause, next 155. After 160, only 3 reps to failure. That's flat pyramid rest pause.
Okay. You're doing rest pause. Now I have to go back up to the original question about it. Yeah. All right. Low to moderate. Would you recommend the flat pyramid sets of 8? Add 15% more weight.
Okay.
So kind of
rest pause with the 8 reps, and you're going up in weight every time.
I think that's fine. I end up going up in weight, until I get to my working weights too. I guess my question is just like, you might be able to lift more up at that failure range with heavier weight if you took a longer break in between. But hey, everyone's different. If that works for you and you're seeing growth, like I wouldn't stop doing it.
No way.
Yeah.
Rest pause is one of the best intensifying techniques. As long as you don't overdo it, you'll make crazy gains. Crazy gains. I like it.
Yeah.
I would say rock and roll with that. I'm a wee pound stone. Rock and roll, baby. Random flag, spamming. Side laterals equal good? Question mark. For side delts, absolutely. I like cable Y raises for side delts. It's a side lateral raise, but on the cable, you crisscross them so you get stretch under load and extended range of motion.
Yeah. I rarely use dumbbells anymore. I almost exclusively do cable side raises for side delt growth.
Yeah, I would prefer the cables because, like I just said, the stretch and the extended range.
It's a spoiler. They're going to see it in the shoulder video.
All right, Dave, can you discuss the difference between muscle damage versus still being muscle fatigue several days later? Can muscle ignoring muscle fatigue stop hypertrophy?
Yes. Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you need to figure out, Dave, what's causing that days and days and days later. Because I mean, it could be like nutrition related, water related, sleep related, stress related.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other causes, but you definitely don't want to keep lifting like that. You're definitely not going to achieve hypertrophy if that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, the word "I'm tired," everybody likes to throw that out. I'm not saying you, Dave, you're a beast, but a lot of people, once again, subjective. I'm tired. Are you tired or are you uninspired?
Right.
You know, The Rock is famously quoted, "You're not tired, you're uninspired." So change your mindset.
Sometimes like go and do a couple sets too. Like once you actually get warmed up and whatever, like the muscle feels fine. It's not actually sore or fatigued and you can hit your same strength levels and rep schemas.
Yeah. But I've been there, Dave. I get it from cardio. So I do leg day. And then if I do cardio the day after leg day or 2 days after leg day, which I do a lot, I feel that fatigue, man. I can feel that fatigue. It's not muscle damage. It is fatigue. They're tired. They're worn out still. They're not ready to lift weights. They're probably not ready to do cardio, but I'm in there doing cardio anyway.
I get that just from filming videos for you guys. Like, we're always torn because you guys are always like, we want to see real weights. So it's like, well, if I go in with real weights, that's not exactly how I would do my workout, right? Like, it would take a very long time to film and it wouldn't be very cohesive. And then if I do the baby weights, I end up like, oh, I can't actually do my leg day tomorrow because I fatigued the muscle. So yeah, we're always torn. Which one do you guys like seeing? Do you guys like seeing it when we're doing more real weight or just demoing and talking?
And it is hard to talk while you're doing real weight. Believe me. I'm a wee pound stone. That only works when I lift heavy. I learned that from Menser and Dorian Yates. Well said, baby. What's Ronnie Coleman's famous saying? Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. Nobody wants to lift heavy weights. Heavy weights are going to do it, man. I can tell you that right now more than anything else. If you're not lifting heavy, and that, again, heavy to you is not heavy to me, you got to lift heavy.
Right.
If you're not, don't even go to the gym.
For sure. Unless
your goal is to not make muscle. Once again, if you're watching on Instagram and you want to respond, you're going to have to get on YouTube, comment on YouTube. We can respond to YouTube. We can't keep up with both. But I appreciate y'all. I see y'all. You're waving. I love it. Appreciate it. But if you want your comments answered, go ahead and hop onto YouTube. All right, here we go. Miss Tactic, welcome back, Miss Tactic. Lighter weights are definitely fine for demonstration.
Right.
My man.
I like it.
Appreciate that, Miss Tactic, because you're going to see me on the mic going, trying to talk.
He actually pops the mic, which is really annoying because I got to cut all the footage out, you guys. I forget what video we were filming, but we almost had to refilm it all because of how screechy the mic was with him screaming into it.
Hassan, welcome, Hassan. Can you share your insights on reps range? My previous coach said you should do at least 15 to 18 reps for hypertrophy for first 2 to 3 years, and heavyweight is not for bodybuilding. Ooh, I'll fire your coach, my man.
Yeah.
I would fire your coach immediately.
I mean, I will say anything under 20 reps will lead to hyper. Well, first of all, if you're new to lifting under 2 years, anything's going to create hypertrophy. You're right off the couch. So
let's back up. There's not a bodybuilder out there that's not lifting heavy weights. That doesn't happen. And again, that's subjective, but they're lifting heavy for them. Right. There's not a bodybuilder out there that's going to tell you, hey, lift light weights.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I mean, you could drop 1,000 names right now. They're all lifting heavy. Look at Bumstead. He's not even a bodybuilder. That man is stronger than strong. His deadlifts, his squats, holy smokes, he's lifting some weights. Heavy weights. Hassan, I don't know who your coach is, but
yep, it's the #1 principle to hypertrophy, mechanical tension. It means you have to lift a heavy weight.
Yep. I would fire your coach immediately, Hassan. All All right, Wheelo Poundstone, ain't that the truth? If you ain't lifting heavy, go home. There's some truth to that.
Aw, his break is over. He's got to go back to work.
I'm a wee Poundstone. Thank you both. My break is over. Going back to work on lower back now. The way thanks for lower back and lat video. You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Those were great questions. We appreciate that.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, appreciate it. I mistyped that Ronnie Coleman lifted light weights all the time. Lightweight, baby! Hassan, I've been lifting for 3 to 4 years, but my muscles are soft, even with 13 to 15% body fat, because you're not lifting heavy enough, brother. We talked about the body pump class, right? Those ladies are in there 3-4 days a week lifting weights for an hour straight. None of them are huge. They're toned and firm, sure. But they're not big. They're not big muscular because they're lifting light weights. They're just doing high reps. You got to lift the heavy weights, baby. Dave and Buster, real weights. How else will beginners learn what real effort looks like?
I mean, he's got a point.
and the second part of that is I'm going to highlight the effort. You got to put in the effort.
Gut-busting effort.
If you're doing, you said you're doing 15 to 18 reps. If you do the 18th rep and you go, nah, you put it down. No, you just did nothing. You wasted your time. Your 18th rep, your last rep should be like, I can barely get this up. Every bit of effort. Once again, thank you, David. Every bit of effort to take it to get the last rep up. That's how it should be. And that's how you're going to get strong. And that's how you're going to get big. Big T, James was watching the Rich Gaspari documentary the other night.
Nice.
That man could throw some weight up in his early bodybuilding career. Yes. Rich is known for his intensity back in the day. He wasn't the biggest dude, but whoo, baby.
I love his pre-workout. We need to do a supplement review soon. We haven't done one of those in a while.
Hassan, what's your views on pyramid sets versus straight sets? They both have the place.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to do pyramid sets, just make sure you're not doing junk volume, right? So I would be very strategic in how you do and when you do pyramid sets. I wouldn't do it for every single exercise for that body part that you're training. Pick and choose.
Yeah, and if you do your pyramid sets like Angel, man, you're going to do one and you're going to be done.
Exactly.
Dave and Buster, lift heavy, but not so heavy you cut your range of motion. Yes.
Yes. The second principle to hypertrophy, working tension, moving that heavy load over the full range of motion.
Yes. And if you're too heavy to do the full range of motion, it's too heavy. Lighten it up.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back to moderate muscle damage. So with moderate damage, your inflammation's kind of moderate. The muscle cell membranes are potentially compromised. Remember what I said with like the Z-line streaming, like stuff starts to become in disarray. You are going to notice some delayed healing, right? Like it's probably 3 to 4 days until you have that full strength recovery. It's slower, but you still are going to get full tissue regeneration. You haven't dug too much of a damage debt yet. And you're going to see like a moderate amount of hypertrophy if you train within that medium zone. So then that brings me to, well, what the heck is high? I thought more is better and I should always have high damage. Well, high damage leads to high inflammation. And anytime you have high inflammation, that's not a good thing. Like the body is telling itself like, whoa, I need to take a time out. I need to focus on healing. So every bit of nutrient, every resource your body has is going to repair that damage. And that can actually lead to incomplete healing. You tried to fill in that big hole you dug, but now you got a pothole and it's not going to be able to build bigger tissue, let alone, level out that pothole. And you can actually lead to some scar tissue in there forming. So not a good thing to lift at that extreme. And usually, you know that you did this when it's 7 days or more, right? You're like, whoa, it's been a week. I went back to train legs and they're still sore. You did way too much, way too much.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be sore for 7 days.
Yeah, something went wrong.
I like the strength meter. If you can come back 4 days later and do the same weight, you're right in the. I think you're right in the zone there.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at? Hassan, do you recommend pairing antagonist muscles, chest and back on the same day? I've noticed when I do a push day after chest, my shoulders and triceps are done for. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing shoulders and triceps after you do a push day. Absolutely not. Antagonists, they're good. I do biceps and triceps. The idea is you work one, the other one's fresh.
Resting.
So it's resting while you're working biceps. My triceps are resting. Then when I'm working triceps, my biceps are resting, so we can do 100% without fatiguing either muscle.
Right.
So working antagonist has its place. You can do a good split with that, but you definitely don't want to hit chest, shoulders, or tricep after you do a push day.
Right.
You don't want to do shoulder to tricep after you do a chest day. You get some space in between. There's too much overlap. So in other words, you're doing a lot of shoulders and triceps while you're doing chest day. So you don't want to go and hammer them the next day. You give them a little split, right? Give them a rest. Big T, I did legs on Thursday. My legs are still recovering, my man.
All right. Well, that's not bad because we're only on Sunday, right? So we had Thursday to Friday, Saturday. We're at 3 days. So Big T, if you're like pretty recovered by tomorrow or Tuesday, then you're right in that like golden zone for building muscle. So that's awesome.
Yep. Todd Johnson, welcome back, Todd. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Glad you can make it. Happy Sunday. Great content as always. A supplement review would be great. Hey,
all right.
We haven't done one in a while.
We haven't.
We can do that next week.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Tactic. It helps. Lee Haney said eating pineapple helps with reducing inflammation.
It does. So another thing that you can do is you can actually skin a pineapple and clean the skin really good, and you can boil that pineapple skin and drink that water as like a tea.
Okay, nobody's doing that.
I know, it's a lot of work, but if you have the whole pineapple, don't chuck that skin out. It can be useful.
Pineapple also has a digestive enzyme in it, so it will help you digest your protein as well. Pineapple's good stuff. Thanks for that, Miss Tactic. Native Grits, thoughts on RDLs before deadlifts?
Yes. I actually like deadlifts on my back day because I think RDLs are one of the best hamstring building exercises, not to put any spoilers out there for the leg hypertrophy video.
So Native Grit, I like to do both. However, that's how I injured my back last time I injured my back. I went from RDLs, I think I did 2 or 3 working sets, and then I went to my working weight on deadlifts, and my back was like, no, you're not. So
yeah. That would be tough to do it the reverse way.
Yeah. Just be careful if you're going to do it. Watch your lower back because, again, that's how I tweaked mine last time a couple months ago. Aileen, bro split. Hassan will build faster. I agree. Hassan, what do you think of heavy days and light days within the same week? I don't think there's any need for a light day.
Yeah, get rid of that light day. It's more about total volume equated over the week per muscle group. So I definitely would not have that light day in there.
What's a light day? It's overtraining. It's junk volume. You're doing light weights for what? If you need to rest, go home and rest. Don't do a light day.
We used to talk about this all the time. Not that they were light days, but James and I used to do doubles. So if it was back day, we would train back in the morning and be all ferocious. Then we'd come back at lunchtime and we'd train back again. And there was no way I was overloading. Like the overload already happened that morning. Like I was already fatigued. So that's just junk volume for sure.
Junk volume, yeah. All right, where are we at? Dave and Buster, high inflammation can lead to temporary weight gain. Track your weight as a tool for recovery. Hey, that's not bad advice. That's that's another tool you could use. Inflammation makes you hold water. So Dave is correct. You will go up on the scale. Water weight. That's a man, Dave, you're smart.
You also, if you guys do measurement tracking, you're taking tape measures of like your muscle groups. You don't want to do it if your muscle's sore because it temporarily holds water. So you might take that bicep measurement. You're like, yeah, I got like these 19-inch arms today. You do them like a month later when you didn't train biceps the day before, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I lost an inch. You didn't. It's just you have less inflammation.
Yeah. Hassan, frequency versus volume.
There's definitely a live that covers that entire topic. But frequency would be like how many separate times did you go out and train that muscle group for the week, and volume is kind of a conglomerate of how many reps and sets that you did total. But we definitely covered that at length during an entire live video. Yeah,
check it out, Hassan. Go through our live library. We definitely have that in there. Angel, I prefer pyramids for warm-up. Same with sandwich sets.
It's the warm-up.
Yeah, and I mentioned that earlier. I'm 49 years old, so I do a couple high-rep sets to get warmed up as well. When you get You get a little older and you work out first thing in the morning, you got to get loosened up a little bit before you start hitting those heavy weights.
Yeah.
All right, where we at? Hassan, is there any truth to the anabolic window for protein after workout?
That's kind of been debunked over the last several years, right? Yeah.
That's been around forever, Hassan. And like Camille said, it's kind of been debunked. It's not bad to eat after your workout. So I would say schedule a meal after your workout anyway. But is it absolutely necessary? No.
Yeah. In fact, like the protein synthesis window can actually stay elevated for up to 48 hours post lift. And even longer for novice athletes. So with that being said, the more experienced of a lifter you are, the shorter that window actually is. But again, it's not like a half hour after lifting. It stays elevated for days after your lift. So as long as you're recovering and feeding yourself, you are going to trigger growth.
Yeah. And once again, the protein breaks down. They showed a window of protein breaking down over 6 hours. Mm-hmm. So if you had breakfast, you already got your protein window. It's already breaking down. It's still in there. Mm-hmm. You don't need a refeed. But again, it's a good idea to have a meal after your workout. So I would schedule that anyway, but it's not necessarily necessary.
Yeah, great question, though. I love that question. All right, so let's talk a little bit about DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, because that does not equal damage, you guys. And that's probably what no one wants to hear. Like, most of the time you're like Big T said, oh, I got sore. Yes, I did something. And I get it. I'm that same way. But really, they're not correlated with one another. Most of the time, DOMS is actually coming from connective tissue damage, not the muscle fiber itself. So that's something to think about. And not only that, if you introduce new exercises into your routine, that results in crazy amounts of soreness, even though damage is technically low. So yeah, there's almost no correlation between how sore you are and how much you grow.
Hassan, your views on sarcoplasmic growth. Oh my goodness, you're going to take this one. Like after a heavy workout, 1 to 2 pump sets to failure.
So the problem with sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is that it's technically temporary. The amount of actual hypertrophy that can occur from sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is minuscule. It would not be worth chasing the pump because it really over time would not lead to substantial growth.
It's just water, right?
Yeah, it's just water.
Sarcoplasmic
your cells are swelling.
It's just water from your cells swelling. Mm-hmm. It's not actual hypertrophy. It's not muscles. It's just water. Now,
if you're going in for like a photo shoot or something, like by all means, like get a crazy wicked pump, take your photos, look at the beach kind of thing. Sure. You know, that's what we're doing as bodybuilders backstage. We're creating that temporary swelling to look all larger than life on stage. But like the in terms of true hypertrophy, the portion that would come from sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is so minuscule that it would not be worth chasing the pump.
Yeah, once again, Hassan, think about the body pump class. Those ladies are in there lifting for an hour. They're getting that sarcoplasm. They're big time sarcoplasm, right? That's the only hypertrophy they're doing. They're not getting real hypertrophy. But again, look at their physiques. They're not huge. They're not muscular. They're not even growing muscles. They're just staying the same, which is okay if that's what they want. Don't get me wrong. A lot of women don't want to be big and muscular. So they're doing just fine doing that. But if you want big muscles, they have it. Dave, I use BCAAs pre and post workout to prevent muscle catabolism. Fantastic.
Yeah, BCAAs are a must for sure.
I agree. And that goes along with our supplement review. Maybe we're going to do that next week. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to help with that. Randall Flagg, genetic beast cause all lifters sarcoplasmic nitrogen imbalance, fake muscle slave.
He does. In fact, he's had us on his channel. Like he has done a live video while we've been live, and he has commented on a lot of James's videos. He's definitely got something for this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy.
That's why I said she's going to handle it, because that dude's a complete clown. I can't believe anybody watches him. And I've seen him for years, and his subscription has actually gone down in numbers. So people are unsubscribing to his channel. He's such a clown. He has no idea what he's talking about. His physique is terrible. He's terrible. All he does is Google stuff and requote it. I don't even think he works out. I mean, he's an embarrassment.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you firsthand, James and I are not in there lifting, chasing a pump. Like, we're doing the exact opposite most of the time, I would say.
Yeah. This dude, like I said, he's an absolute clown, and he's the only channel that I've actually seen a subscriber count go down. So people are unsubscribed because they know he's such a clown and a joke. They're going, we ain't come back.
I mean, I do like that he talks about sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Most people don't even know that that's a thing.
That's why they're watching. They're going, ooh, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. I got to listen to this. Maybe I can get some sarcoplasmic, but you can't. It's ridiculous.
It's not a cheat, right?
He said all my muscle gains were sarcoplasmic. And dude, I've been doing this 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
You think this is water? Go take a hike. Unsubscribe and quit watching that dude. He's out. He just
to each their own.
Joke. It's a joke. All right, where we at? Hassan, do you recommend exercise variety from time to time, or just stick to basic routine as long as possible?
That's a very good question.
That is a good question. You want to stick with your routine 8 to 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, you probably want to change something up. When I say that, that can be as easy as just changing the order of the exercises.
Yeah, not all exercises are created equal, so be very careful of what you pull into your workouts. You want to always have your core compounds in some form or fashion. So also keep that in mind.
Yep. Randall Flagg, I just started watching him and then stopped. Yeah, I don't blame you, bro. I watched him for about maybe 5 minutes, and I was like, this dude is a clown. All he does is Google and regurgitate, and then he'll grab somebody else's video and tell you how wrong they are when you're not wrong. He did a whole thing on me, and he didn't disagree with anything I said, but he did a whole video of me saying this is wrong. It's just a joke. He's a joke. All right. Joy Caden. Welcome, Joy. I started doing home workout. Can I make decent body with it? Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, James has an all dumbbell series. So if you are doing at-home workouts, definitely check out that series. And then I even filmed a hotel gym series. So if you have a little more equipment than just dumbbells, you can check out that one. But absolutely.
He's got dumbbells as well as 5 and 10 kilograms. You're going to need heavier dumbbells.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to need some heavier weights, but, use your imagination. I was deployed in the Army, and we tied sandbags to a broomstick. That was our barbell and our weights. You can get a good workout anywhere. I was in the middle of the desert getting a good workout with a broomstick and sandbags.
Yeah. Also think about doing some of the intensifying techniques that some of the folks on here have been talking about, like the pyramid sets, the sandwich sets, superset, drop set. There's, we have tons of videos on intensifying techniques. In fact, there's an entire playlist, so you can use what you have and just intensify it.
Yep. Hassan, for compound movements, 6 to 8 reps, and for isolation, 12 to 15 reps. What do you say? So, traditionally, hypertrophy 6 to 10. Strength is 1 to 5. Anything over 10 is just tone and firm. Traditionally.
Yes and no. Like we talked about this. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I was talking about the preacher curl, where it's like, there's no way I could jump up 5 pounds on the preacher curl, but could I do an extra rep? And would that benefit me more? The answer is yes. I'm going to add the reps until I can get to the next weight jump.
Yeah. So. And you're still in that rep. If you go into failure at that 15 reps, you could still do hypertrophy, but we talked about doing high reps last week. The burn, you're going to stop before failure because
most people can't handle the burn. So you have to have grit.
Yes. So to me, 6 to 10 is a sweet spot for hypertrophy on all your lifts, compounds and isolation. That's just my opinion. But again, there's other things that do work. Dave and Buster, the only use I have for a pump is to increase blood flow for waste removal and nutrient inflow to the muscle. Very well said, David.
There you go.
The pump, I'm gonna quote Mike Menser once again, and believe me, I've said this a million times, and this goes along with the sarcoplasm BS. Mike said a young man came up to him and said, the pump is how you achieve hypertrophy. And he looked at him, he said, young man, look around this gym. Every person in this gym is achieving a pump. However, very few are achieving hypertrophy.
Very true.
So
Well
keep
said.
that in mind. Yep. All right, where we at? Hassan, is there any difference in training with different body types like endomorph, mesomorph, ectomorph? No. Your body is you're built differently genetically, you're built differently, bigger, leaner, etc., but it works the same.
Right.
The general adaptation syndrome is the same. So if you put a heavy weight on it, the adaptation your body's going to do is grow a muscle bigger and stronger, whether you're ecto, endo, or meso.
Yeah, can't be blaming things on genetics. You got to get in there and put the effort in.
Dave, that's what I use citrulline for. There you go, baby. Help with the pump.
All right, so let's go back to the topic today, muscle damage, and let's talk about what actually increases muscle damage. Because remember, we have to manage it. We've got low, moderate, high, and our goal is to keep it low to moderate so we can definitely emphasize hypertrophy.
To me, it's jump volume. You're just doing too much. You already achieved it with a set. Cut your exercise. You're done.
Yeah.
Keep hammering again, you're just going to create too much damage.
You nailed it. So one of the number one ways that you increase damage towards that high side, and it's not a good thing, is high volume, right? You're doing too many sets past your breakout sets, right? And that's leading to too much damage, too much breakdown. Your debt damage is too big. So definitely have to put the volume in check and do the right amount of volume.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier, we were doing the same body part twice in one day. Yeah. Guess what didn't happen? Gains didn't happen, y'all, because all that second workout, it was all junk volume.
Right.
And it was just taken away from our gains and our recovery. So keep that in mind. Hassan, I used to do full body workout every other day, 2 exercises per body part. But now I'm doing 2 body parts per day, 4 exercises per day, 2 compound, 2 isolation. Is it working, Hassan?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a bad split as long as it's working.
I mean, for me, I probably wouldn't be able to turn around after 2 days and hit those same muscle groups again. Something would be sore if I went to failure on those exercises. But everyone's different. That's like one of the key takeaways today is it's individualized. You can't just listen to someone on Instagram or whatever and say, I'm going to copy that. Like, you have to figure out what works for you.
Yep. Angel, isn't chasing the pump the same as jump volume?
Yes.
Thank you, Angel. It is the exact same thing. Dave, I started using 1.25 pound weights when 5 pounds is too great for a jump. Fantastic. Is that a magnet, Dave? I've never seen a 1.25.
Yeah, Aileen was talking about the magnet weights.
Yeah.
I definitely need to look into that because that would be really helpful for sure. All right, so another way that damage is increased is heavy eccentrics. And you're probably like, you guys preach heavy eccentrics all the time. And that is true, but you need to be strategic. So this means maybe 1 or 2 heavy eccentric sets for the exercise you're doing, not every set, every exercise. So pick and choose which exercise and which set do you want to be the damaging one.
Yeah, indeed. Hassan, I have a question about prisoners. How do they get jacked even with living without a food? Hassan, I've never been to jail, but what I understand is they have all day to lift weights, and they have...
I would lift all day, every day.
They can have family bring them food, so they're not necessarily at a caloric deficit. If all they have is what the prison gives them to eat, they will be at a deficit. But what I understand, family can bring them food, friends can bring them food, and there's some kind of like a store they can actually buy food as well. Depending on the prison, of course. If you're at a high security, I doubt you can buy food. But that's what I understand about prisons. And the people that I know that have come out of prison all jacked up, they usually don't stay jacked up very long, and they usually don't stay in the gym very long because it's like The Biggest Loser. They got 18, 24 hours a day to lift weights. What else are they going to do? Sit in their cell?
I like Randall's thing. They nap all day. They sleep for 10 hours, so they're recovering.
There you go.
You have to go back up now.
Oh, snap. No.
Yeah. So how do you figure out what's junk volume since it's different for every person?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely different for every person. So the question is like, do you feel beat up all the time? Like, that would be an indicator. Are you having trouble sleeping? That could be an indicator that you're doing too much volume. But the biggest indicator is not hitting extra weight or reps. If your strength is going down, you're probably doing too much over time.
Yeah. That's a good question, G. Baker. Welcome. And it's going to be different. How do you figure out jump volume? How many sets do you need to make the breakthrough set, right? So if you're progressive overloading like you should be, adding a weight or a rep, you know your breakthrough set. You do your breakthrough set. If you continue one more set after that, that's overtraining, that's junk volume. You don't need that. All you need is your breakthrough set.
It's a great question. I love it.
It is a good question. Yep. Native Grit, got to head to my next station. Stay strong, stay disciplined, take care, and have a blessed day. Thanks for tuning in, Native Grit. We're glad you're feeling better, brother. Joy Caden, if I do walking while holding weights, does it help to increase strength in the back muscles?
So
I guess
like
if you got a lot of weight, Yeah,
I think mostly that's going to improve your grip strength and forearm strength, but it's basically a farmer's walk.
Yeah, and once again, heavy weights. If you're holding 5-pound dumbbells, it's not going to do anything. Randall Flagg, they nap all day, sleep at least 10 hours. No problem with the recovery there. They can't even do anything. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. All right, P. Bateman, welcome. Currently on a cut and doing upper lower 4 days a week, gaining more strength.
Nice.
I've also cut my volume in half and doing 6 to 10 reps.
There you go.
Fantastic.
So it sounds like you kind of learned that maybe volume was too high.
Yep.
But yeah, anytime strength is going up, it's a really good indicator that hypertrophy is going to follow.
Yep.
So those two are a little bit correlated.
Yep. Hassan, so there's no overtraining thing if we are eating enough and sleeping enough. No. No. Hassan, if you think there's no such thing as overtraining, go ahead and do legs every day. Every day. And try to keep your weights the same. I guarantee you that you're going to get weaker.
Yeah.
There is absolutely overtraining, and you can't fix it with sleep, and you can't fix it with food.
Yeah.
You have to let your body rest. Angel, jump volume is doing 30 reps instead of 8 reps per set.
Yeah, anything over 20 reps is going to be jump volume.
All right, P. Bateman, what's your thoughts on TRT at 26? If you need it.
Yeah, I would get the hormone levels checked.
Yeah.
See if they're, stable where they should be, declining.
Yeah, the first thing they're going to do is check your hormones where you're at right now. And even at 26, if you're low, they're going to give you a script. If you're not low, they won't give you a script. So go get checked out would be my recommendation. Geez, I can speak. And then if you're low, they'll give you a script. They'll write you a script for it. But you're typically not usually too low at 26. So don't be surprised if you walk in there and they say, sorry, we can't write you a script. All right. Been gymming for 8 years. Nice.
All right.
Considering a cycle, what's your take on taking PEDs in your mid-20s? Do your research, do your homework, and if you ever want to have kids, you better do it first.
Good advice.
They will kill your sperm count. So if you want to reproduce, if you ever want to have kids, I would hold off on TRT. I would hold off on PEDs. And again, if you're going to do it, do your homework. Corn Killer, what a great name. Welcome, Corn Killer. James, why do you wear your belt off-centered when wearing jeans?
Someone's been watching your hiking videos.
Because I lost some weight, brother. It doesn't fit right. When I'm at the right weight, it fits right. But when I lose weight, I got to turn it, or gain weight, I got to turn it this way to get the excess into the next week.
Goodness.
So I don't have a flapper out, right? Nobody wants a belt flapper hanging out, right?
Can't have the belt flapper.
But that's why I got to tuck in that flapper. That's why it's off-centered. Man, that's good. Way to notice that.
Yeah, very observant.
Yeah. Miss Tactic, I trained 2 hours a day, whole body years ago.
Oof.
I felt beat up, no motivation, always quit. Now I do 4-day split, focusing on specific muscle groups like legs, chest, leg day, much better. Outstanding.
Yeah, I made the same mistake, Miss Tactic.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Miss Tactic. Way to adjust, and I bet you're making gains now too. Hassan, do you recommend high carbs or high protein for building phase? Both.
I mean, I think if you're in a bulking phase and you would like to do higher carbs and a little less protein, you can get away with that. But you want to make sure you're at least eating adequate protein. That way you have the available resources to repair the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Angel, keep lifting, keep living, keep
Bye,
loving,
Angel.
laughing. Have a great week and stay pumped. Thanks for tuning in, Angel. Appreciate you every week, baby. All right, P. Bateman, shaved or bush? I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know where that one's going, but we're probably not going to answer that.
All right, Tom Johnson. Brother James, what's your opinion on weighted vest push-ups, and is it detrimental to do them too often?
I think weighted vest push-ups are going to be a must if you're using push-up as a means of hypertrophy, but I wouldn't use that as my means of hypertrophy because you're probably way too efficient at the push-up, I'm guessing, Todd.
Yeah, I did a push-up video long time ago. Yes, push-ups can work, but eventually you're going to be doing 500, 600 push-ups, right?
Right.
It's much easier to load up the bar and do 6 to 10 reps. Mm-hmm. All right. P. Bateman, I prefer bush. Bush is king. Jesus. Dave, I define jump volume as continuing after the failure set. Go to failure and don't do more than 2 sets to get there. Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%. That is the recipe. I agree with that. Wait, I can't say it better, David.
The only time I do another set is if I didn't hit the hypertrophy range to begin with. Like I went in and something happened and I failed at 2-3 reps, I'll do a back off set. But that's the only time I would do something after the failure set.
Yep. Hassan, is there any training changes when we are in a cutting phase, like lower weight or increasing reps or decreasing rest periods? Nope.
Nope.
The only thing you usually change is your diet and you add in cardio.
I mean, as a competitive bodybuilder, in the last couple of weeks before the stage, I try to keep inflammation very low. I'm trying to keep damage very low. So that's the only time I would mess with my weights or reps. But that's not until the very, very end where you're about to hit the stage.
G. Baker, time for football. Always appreciate the new info and insight. Absolutely, G. Baker. Go get that kickoff, baby. Go Ravens. I don't know who your team is. Okay. Todd Johnson, LOL. Guess what happened? Games didn't happen. That was hilarious.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, guys, let's close this thing up. So what actually increases muscle damage? We talked about the high volume. We talked about doing too many heavy eccentrics. Novel exercises. So that means doing a new movement. It usually equates to big soreness, and big soreness means big inflammation. So you really want to limit how many new exercises you're putting in your workout week to week. So keep that in check for sure. Another thing that causes a lot of damage is very fast ballistic-like reps, right? As you're doing these yanking reps, you're not allowing time for the muscle fibers to actually bind together to help support that load. So now we've got less muscle fibers that can distribute that load, which causes damage to them. So take time, slow those reps down. You don't want to do them too fast.
Yeah, and 88ers know better. We do the perfect rep, nice and smooth, slow, blah, blah, blah. But this is another hit on CrossFit. Because day one, they tell you lift as heavy and as fast as you can.
Right.
So once again, you don't really want to lift fast. That's momentum. We want to lift the weight with the muscle. We don't want to use momentum.
Right. And then stretch under load. While, yes, it's the most potential for growth, you have to be careful because it's the most potential for injury. I think we talked about this last week. So while, yes, we want to make sure that we're training our muscles in their lengthened state, don't ego lift here because it will cause a high amount of damage because that's when your muscle fibers are actually the weakest. So keep that in check. And then another thing just to point out for you guys is that in general, your pull muscles are going to damage faster. So these are your hamstrings, your biceps, your lats versus quads, chest or triceps. So that's something to consider if you're doing a push-pull split. You definitely want to keep these other things in check that we're talking about because those muscle fibers will get damaged. And then the last thing I just want to point out to you guys is, if you're training in a very low glycogen state, this will induce more muscle damage as well. So those are all the things that kind of push you over to the high side. So you have to be strategic when you use the different approaches.
Yes. Well said. Hassan, can we include calisthenics during off days or total rest that day? What's your take on that?
I would just rest, right? So I would maybe use the calisthenics as your warm-up. as you're getting ready to do some of the lifts, but I wouldn't necessarily do them. Like if my chest is beat up, I'm not going to go in there the next day and do push-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to let my chest recover.
I'm going to say if it's a rest day, rest.
Mm-hmm.
If you're supposed to do cardio, maybe you could do calisthenics instead.
Mm-hmm.
But I would keep it,
But
limited.
if you're doing like burpees and stuff like that, and the next day's leg day, you probably created some fatigue somewhere that's not going to be good for hitting your heavy sets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I would. If you're going to do calisthenics and try to do hypertrophy training, I would keep the calisthenics very low.
Mm-hmm.
Aileen, what's for supper? I might cross the border.
James actually grilled some of those lamb chops again, so I'm really excited. I might actually have that right after this for lunch. I don't know.
I rubbed them with smoked paprika this time. I haven't tried it yet, but man, did they look good and
They
smell
good for sure.
We grilled chicken breast and the lamb chops, and then she made some other things. But if you were here, Aileen, I'll give you the lamb chops, baby.
Yeah. So just kind of as a recap for you guys, there are consequences for creating too much muscle damage. Right? That's when your connective tissue, that scaffolding that we were talking about, sort of breaks down. The inflammation spikes really high, which slows down everything. Like it slows down repair of the damage and definitely impedes muscle growth. And you actually can create a situation where your muscle enzymes leak into the bloodstream. So now your body's literally bleeding out all of its resources, and it has to focus on that. And not only that, like your satellite cells, which can be used for growth, are now stuck in repair mode. Right? They're recruited for that, not growth. And then your strength tanks for days. That kind of correlates to your weekly volume rates dropping. So that's not good either. So definitely learn from our mistakes and make sure that you're doing adequate amount of muscle damage. Not too much, not too little. You got to hit that sweet spot, and it's going to be different for everyone.
Yep. Just get rid of your jump training, get rid of your jump volume and your overtraining, and I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hassan, first time on this channel and getting a lot of valuable gems. Thank you for this value. You got new subs. Outstanding, Hassan. Appreciate it, brother.
I love that.
We are happy to help. That's why we're doing this, brother. Give back.
Yep, we've got thousands of videos. We try to organize them into different topics and playlists for you guys to watch through. Right now, for the next 6 weeks or so, we are covering a hypertrophy series. So we're talking about what makes muscles grow and trying to give you all sorts of different tips and tricks. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this content.
Yep. All right, Radio 757. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, I have an extreme amount of weight too. Should I eat pre-workout meal or a snack before lifting or continue to train fasted? I'm not sure I'm tracking.
I'm not sure I'm tracking. But anytime you can eat a pre-workout meal, that's probably ideal just because you're able to lift heavy. But now if you're trying to focus a weight loss phase, yeah. So if you're trying to lose a lot of weight,
fasted.
Yeah. I mean, it depends, I guess. It depends. Like I would work out maybe cardio fasted and do your lifts with meals, but it really depends on how quick and how fast you're trying to lose the weight, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and if you're going to eat before you work out, give it some time because I train fasted because if I eat before workout, I'm nauseous the whole workout. I just want to throw up what I just ate. Right. So 9 times out of 10, I'm fasted when I train.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, anything that disrupts your recovery days will stop muscle synthesis, yes, including calisthenics. Yep. Aileen, I'll bring some beats. Oh, yeah, man. Fantastic. You're speaking my language, Aileen. You're speaking my language. Miss Tactic, any tips, please, for how to do dumbbell leg raises for abs without dropping the dumbbell on yourself? Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's hard. Yeah, I forget. Maybe it was you that asked for the ab video. Somebody asked for an ab video, so I guess we'll film that one. It's going to be hard. It's going to be like Thanksgiving when we're filming this ab video. So they might look a little fluffy, but we'll film it for you guys.
Yeah, you're really going to have to squeeze that dumbbell. And a lot of times I won't bring it up to where it's over my face.
Yeah, just stop just shy.
I'll stop, here. That way, if I drop it accidentally, it's not going to fall on me.
Yeah.
It's going to fall on the floor.
Yeah.
Hassan, what do you recommend for lagging body part? I used to train my biceps with intensity and volume. Still, they are lagging. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, do you track though? So James and I used to never track in a logbook, and I was always guessing what I thought the intensity was. Like what I thought was intense wasn't actually intense until I started tracking the exact weight and reps each session and trying to match that.
Yep.
So that can make a big difference if you're not doing that.
Yep, 100%. I agree with that. And if you are tracking, just make sure you add a rep or a weight, and you will bring up your lagging body parts. Biceps are pretty small body part, so you can probably hit it twice a week, as long as you're not sore.
Yeah, after 3 days, they should be recovered. You should be able to hit it again. So yeah, adding additional frequency in there can help bring up the lagging body part. You can also sometimes pepper in an exercise or two on other days. Like if you're training back, you can do like underhand grips, pull downs and things that will also put strain on the bicep.
Yep. You can also finish your back workout with 1 or 2 sets of biceps. Radio 757. Thank you both. Very, very welcome. We're happy to help. Ty Johnson, thank you so much. You both. You're welcome, Ty. Thanks for making it, baby. Miss Tactic, James, you train fasted, but don't you lack for energy during the training then? Since you train fasted, it means you must train in the mornings. Yes.
Yes.
You got it.
And he's heavily caffeinated with our favorite Rich Gaspari pre-workout.
Yes. So, Miss Tactic, once again, I eat and then I go to bed, and my last meal is very big. So I still have the glycogen stores from my meal the night before. So I'm not, pre-contest, I have been to the point where I woke up and I said, man, I got to eat a piece of bread or something before this workout, or I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
But off season, when I'm not, severely restricted, I still have enough from the night before.
I perform better at lunchtime. There's no doubt. Like I already know, like after having a couple meals in me and I'm fully awake, I've been moving around all day, everything's warmed up. My sessions are always better.
I love it in the morning, man. I love it.
I want to wake up and love it in the morning, but I'm not a morning person, you guys. You can ask this one.
And when I say mornings, I'm up between 2 or 3 in the morning usually. So I'm the only one at the gym. I can superset. I can jump around, get on whatever I want. There's no crowd. There's nobody. There's nothing. And it's just me getting it, baby.
I make bad decisions in the morning. He's like, hey, Camille, I'm going to Planet Fitness. You want to go train chest? And I'm like, I think my chest is sore. And then by the time I wake up, I'm like, my chest isn't sore. Like I just needed to wake up and stretch and walk around. So yeah, you can't ask me those questions in the morning.
Fallen Angel, yo, what up? Welcome back, Fallen Angel. Glad you made it, brother. We're right about at the end of this, but I'm glad you tuned in, brother.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, just to recap for today, more damage does not equal more growth. So keep the damage in check. The best hypertrophy is going to come when damage is on the low to moderate side. And remember, DOMS is not an indicator of muscle growth. It's just not. I don't care how sore you get. And your goal should always be to stimulate your muscles, not obliterate them. So definitely keep that in mind. In terms of next week, we'll definitely be on here live. It sounds like we're covering a supplement review since we got some questions on that. So yeah, that'll be a good time. And remember, if you missed the bicep hypertrophy video, go back. We showed the most effective exercises to blow up those biceps. And there was questions on bicep growth there. So definitely check that out. And then this coming Wednesday is the tricep video. So if you want to build those big meaty triceps, definitely check out me and James's video.
Yep, Miss Tactic, thank you, 88. Happy training. You're very welcome, Miss Tactic. Thank you for tuning in. Glad you can make it this week, brother. Todd Johnson, Brother James, how you feeling about 3 scoops of that old NO Explode? I feel like you'll be right in the bathroom.
You'll be exploding, all right.
Let me see. I've taken 2 scoops before.
3 scoops.
I would recommend getting a stronger pre-workout instead of taking 3 scoops of the No Explode.
Those are big scoopers, aren't they?
It's a big scoop, and once again, you're probably going to be immediately in the bathroom.
That's the No Explode part.
Explode. You're going to explode. You're just going to be in the bathroom exploding, right?
All right, you guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget there's that super thanks button if you really enjoyed today's content. But we definitely love you guys, and we'll be seeing you soon next Sunday.
Yeah, I want a couple more questions. Hassan, is there any difference in morning workouts and evening? I've always done evening. Now, due to my job, I have to do workout 5 a.m. in the morning. Any tips? I love working out in the morning, man. If you get used to it, you won't want to work out any other time. What happens if I don't work out in the morning, I work out at lunch, all I'm doing all morning is thinking about my workout.
Well, not only that, he actually is very active during the day at work. So he's walking around doing all these things. So at least in the morning, he's able to get out there when his muscles are fresh. He's not all beat up already.
Yep. And once again, I'm heavily caffeinated. So there's no drag on my energy level there. Phone in, yo, what's up? I want to ask about calves. What's the best way to build size for calves? Standing calf raises.
Do more weight, Fallen Angel.
Yes.
Like your calves can take a beating.
Yes. Think about, so I'm 217 pounds roughly. Every time I take a step on one foot, one calf muscle is pushing 217 pounds.
All day long.
All day long. So put them together, 217 is 432. 432 pounds is nothing for your calves, right? So you got to go super, super heavy for those calves, baby. And in my opinion, standing calf raises are the best. Yeah,
if that bothers your back, because usually for me, like once I go up above 200 pounds, it starts loading my spine. I like to do them on the leg press. You can load up the plates, get that heavy mechanical tension. So if the standing is bothering you, try that version.
Also pause in the stretch position. 1 second pause with your calf stretched in the stretch position while loaded. Don't unload it.
Yeah, and I do like slightly higher rep ranges on calves. Like I will hit that 12 to 15 range on calves. I'm not doing like 6 reps.
You feel that's better?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It is legs, so, legs do respond better at higher reps. So, okay. Any other questions? All right. Doesn't look like it. Here we go. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you. Everybody that's on Instagram, appreciate you. We got a lot of waves, a lot of comments. Once again, if you're watching on Instagram, you're going to have to jump onto YouTube if you want your comment answered. But appreciate you all watching. All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Till next time.
See you next Sunday.